Everyone keeps saying Portugal's property market can't keep rising. But what if it's not a bubble? What if this whole thing is being kept alive on purpose by policies, foreign cash, and pure economics, not luck? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why prices haven't crashed and why they might not for years, and what the government's latest tax move could really mean for anyone thinking of buying here. And trust me, once you see the full picture, you'll realise Portugal's housing market isn't broken, it's engineered. Let's start with actually what's happening in Portugal. Well, Lisbon, Porto, the Algarve, the prices have absolutely exploded. Areas doubling, some areas tripling in price in the last decade. Rentals on properties in Lisbon, 1,500 to 2,000 euros per month for a rental property. Now, when you look at wages, minimum wage being 800 and something euros, you don't need a calculator to work out these figures do not work. So when you talk about a property boom in Portugal, for foreigners, yes, but for the local people, you are absolutely joking. They are getting squeezed out of their own country. So how did we get here? Well, it's simple. Decades of good intentions, easy money, and one massive oversight. Portugal rebuilt the roads, but forgot to rebuild the economy. This was all okay until we got a financial crisis. In 2008, that crash came. Construction stopped, banks froze, and people lost their job overnight. In 2011, they had to take a bailout of 78 billion euros from the EU and the IMF. So what did the government do? They got creative. The golden visa. Basically, buy a house for €500,000 or more and you can come and live here. It worked perfectly. Billions of euros poured into the country. But this set off a chain reaction that is still burning today. Developers and sellers started pricing everything at or above 500,000 euros. Foreign investors were coming in, snapping up that property, not necessarily to live there, but just to park their cash. Where did this leave the locals? Completely out of the picture. And here's another piece of the puzzle that nobody really talks about. The NHR scheme, Non-Habitual Residence. This allowed foreigners to move into Portugal and have a tax-free time of 10 years on their pensions. This brought in a lot of people into Portugal. Obviously, tax-free money living in the Portuguese sun. This is another policy that inflated prices. Then came the tourist boom. Everybody wanted a piece of Portugal. The sun, the lifestyle, the beaches, the cheap cost of living. It was attracting over 18 million tourists per year in a country with a population of only 10 million. This is nuts. This is not a way to move forwards. It wasn't just hotels. Apartments and houses were turning into Airbnb, short-term accommodation. Locals just didn't have a chance. Landlords were kicking them out because they were getting the equivalent of 1 month's rent for a long-term rental. They were getting it in 1 week to a tourist accommodation. You can't compete with the tourist money. Portugal now runs on tourism money. The problem is, how do you house those people that live and work here? Let's talk about pay. Half the country earns less than 1,000 euros a month. And when rents are 1,000 euros plus per month, how are these people supposed to survive? Young people under the age of 30 are still living with their parents. Also, Portugal has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. Villages are simply emptying out. Portugal is losing its next generation. Not because they want to, but because they have to. And just when you think it can't get any worse, let's drop the Digital Nomad Visa. So if you earn more than 2,800 euros per month, come on, welcome to paradise. But hang on a second, that's 3 times the minimum wage for a Portuguese worker. This does not work. There are now whole areas catering for this kind of clientele. Expensive cafes, expensive restaurants, expensive boutique places. So once again, policies that are supposed to boost the economy just make things more expensive for everybody else. This is a short-term cash flow, not an economy where you can build life. All right, let's do a quick but important update. This is new news that has just come out from the government. They have said they want a shock policy on IMT tax. Now, this tax is payable when you buy a property. In Spain, they are trying to bring in a new law for the tax there. Anybody not from the EU, they want you to pay 100% tax on top of the purchase price of your property. Portugal seem to be following these same lines. It is not aimed at everybody. If you are a Portuguese resident or you're a Portuguese buying back in your home, this does not apply to you. This applies to the wealthy people that are looking for second homes in Portugal. And it's kind of to get extra tax from these people. The government so far have only mentioned they are going to change this rule and this percentage. They have not said by how much yet, but it is coming. You believe me. So it may be a very good time to look at investing in Portugal before this new IMT tax comes into law. So back to the big question, is this bubble about to burst? Well, I don't think so. Prices aren't going up on hype. They're going up on real demand. People from all over the world want to live, retire, or invest in Portugal. This is a global shift, and Portugal is right in the middle of it. Sure, Lisbon and the Algarve are both running really hot now, but there are massive opportunities where people aren't even looking yet. This isn't the time to panic. This is the time to position yourself smartly. And just to be clear, this isn't financial advice. This is just me on the ground checking out the market every day. You need to do your own research and make the decisions that are right for you. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.